Hello, everyone. I am Joey Sparks. God's mercies are new again this morning.
This morning with my mind set on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind.
John chapter 21, we're closing down this section where we see Jesus' final moments of his life and ministry, his death, his crucifixion, his death, resurrection, and then his appearances to the disciples, and they're all portrayed through the perspective, the interactions of specific people. So chapter 21 includes two different interactions of sorts with prominent people in Jesus' life, prominent members of that 12, and even really the inner circle of the three. So you got Peter, James, and John with that inner three, and Peter and John you see highlighted in chapter 21. Now, they appear together in chapter 20, because you'll remember when they hear the report from the ladies, they'd run to the tomb, and it's John who's a little faster than Peter, but Peter who's a little more bold, who goes into the tomb first. And when they step in and they see the linens, they see his garments, they're convinced. They know this is the real deal, because Jesus wasn't stolen. Jesus got up, took his outer shroud off, folded it up, and left on his own accord. So that's fascinating, chapter 20. You see their process of coming to belief in Jesus. Then you get to chapter 21, and he's appeared before them a couple of times after his resurrection. And there's this moment when they're out at sea fishing, and they don't necessarily know it's him on the shore, but he's out there. Then they begin to see when they hear him interacting with them, and so John says it's the Lord, and Peter dives in the water to go swim to be with Jesus. Think about that. Peter, who was always so quick, who's, we don't necessarily champion for self-control necessarily, but one we should learn from about enthusiasm, jumps into the water to go swim to be with Jesus. So he takes that same energy, and now it's funneled with going to be with his Lord. And then he has this beautiful interaction where Jesus essentially releases Peter of that guilt of denying him 3 times prior to his crucifixion by allowing him to confess 3 times that he loves him. And in doing that, he reminds him, you're going to have to feed my sheep. I'm passing over this responsibility. I'm no longer going to be feeding them directly. You're going to be the one that does that. And then he tells him, of course, you're going to die in much the same way that I died. When you were young, you used to dress yourself, walk wherever you wanted. When you're old, you will stretch out your own hands, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go. And John includes, parentheses, this he said to show by what kind of death he was to glorify God. Then he said, follow me. We know Peter did. Peter followed him by preaching the gospel there in Acts 2. He followed him by being this apostle in the earliest days of the church. And Peter is profiled heavily through Acts chapter 12 in the book of Acts. And it's Peter who plays this incredible role in the early days of the church, because it clicked with him about Jesus. That Jesus had equipped him and prepared him, even though he wasn't perfect. He still equipped him to lead by showing him how to follow. And so you see this come to light and come to fruition fully after Jesus' resurrection in John's account, really like in no other account of the Gospels. Thank you for taking the time to watch this morning. It is our humble prayer that God's timeless word will be on your mind all day today.
I woke up this morning with my mind set on Jesus.